I did want to first start by thanking Ms. Romy. She is going to be our first presenter for the SU Teaches SU series of talks that we have planned for 2021. And just to give a little bit of information on Ms. Romy, Ms. Rincon has been an instructor here at SU since 2012. She graduated from the Associate's Medical Billing and Coding program, as well as the Bachelor's of Health Administration program offered here at SU. After that, she continued to advance her education to get her MBA with a concentration in healthcare management from UT Tyler. She, being a student here, getting advanced degrees and now being an instructor here, she's an amazing example of what an SU student can become, what they can achieve. And so that's why we've asked her to come in to speak with us to give her story, give tips, give advice on how she was able to get to this point. Just again, a little bit more information on her. She is a certified professional coder apprentice, a certified professional compliance officer, a certified physician practice manager as well. And she's been a lifelong resident of here in El Paso, where she graduated from Thomas Jefferson High School. In her free time, she likes to read, she likes to do crossword puzzles, and she used to sing for the El Paso Parks and Recreation Department. And she's still a songwriter and producer of music. And I do have to say, I was fortunate enough to get to hear her sing the national anthem during one of our graduations a few years ago. And it was a really, really beautiful performance that she gave. So, she does really well with everything she does. So we're excited to have her here. To share her story and give us some information on how students can be successful in their journeys through life. So I'll let Ms. Romy take over.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ramos. It is a pleasure and an honor to be asked to participate in this awesome project for Southwestern University. So what led me to sitting here in front of you, right, as an instructor giving this talk? You're going to find it a little comical, perhaps, but when I tell you that I hate school, sounds a little weird, right? Because I spend most of my time in school, but I was always someone that I love learning, okay? But learning doesn't always coincide with school. I never enjoyed school because of the constraints of it. Sometimes I felt it was very regimental and rigid. I had experience with bullies when I was in school. I had experience with teachers who you knew weren't there because they liked teaching. It was maybe they liked the control or the power of the classroom. So I had those kinds of experiences. So I didn't have a love for school in general. It was something that I just kind of had to do. Okay, so between grades 1 and 12, it was just something I had to do. I had to meet the requirement. Okay, so as soon as I got all my credits, I remember going to the school counselor and saying, I'm done, I'm out, give me my diploma, get me out of here. Okay, I couldn't wait to leave school. The learning continued, and it's something that I still love to this day. So what did I do? Okay, I graduated, and then, of course, having a parent who loves me and wants me to do well, she wanted me to go to college, and I was like, oh, more school. And I thought, well, maybe college is different. So I enrolled in community college, and I went to community college, and I found some of the same things. Okay, not so much the elitism that exists like in high school, where you have these cliques and all of these kinds of things between people or barriers that divide people. I didn't find that as much, but I did still find instructors that were not engaged and were not interested. And sometimes they would just go in and write something on the board, and then they would walk out. And you're there like, okay, so am I teaching myself here? Or you had experiences like you would be driving around the parking lot after you got off work and you're a night student and you're driving around the parking lot trying to find a space. And then you get to your classroom and you find this note on the classroom door, class has been canceled. Okay, so I still had those kinds of experiences. So I was not in love with school still, even after experiencing college. So I left and I said, you know what, I'm just going to work. Okay, I'm just going to work. And I worked in various things. I got a lot of customer service experience, a lot. Okay, so it went all the way from 7-Eleven to ending up at a banking institution. And I was making, an incremental, my income was increasing and I was getting more experience and I was doing well. And then I had this opportunity to start working with, I was a senior teller, so at the banking institution, and I had the opportunity to start training tellers. Okay, so I started working with the training department, training tellers, and I loved it. You know, there was something about planting that seed in someone and then watching it blossom as they took what you taught them and applied it. I loved it. I fell in love with training, teaching. It's the same thing, really. So then an opportunity arose because a position opened up in the training department. So I applied for the position, thinking to myself, "Oh, I'm in," you know, because I was already doing the work. Only to receive a phone call from the personnel manager telling me, "I'm sorry, Ms. Rincon, but you cannot apply for this position because you do not have a bachelor's degree." And my argument was, "But I'm already doing the work." Yes, but the requirement is a bachelor's degree. So I kind of felt like somebody took a very icy cold hand and just slapped me across the face, because I was like, what? I can't do this. And I loved it. You know, I loved it. So after that, that kind of became like a little rock in my shoe. It was just there. It was just bothering me. It affected my work. You know, I was not the best employee after that. I was not a great coworker after that, because it bothered me that I knew somehow intrinsically that I was not going to be able to get ahead because I didn't have that degree, that paper, you know, that said that I went to college. So it just bugged me, and it bugged me and affected my work, eventually to the point where I was not doing my job very well. And I thought, I'm probably going to get fired, okay, because I'm not doing such a hot job anymore. And from one day to the next, I made the decision to leave my job. So I left my job, I quit. And then I'm like, what am I doing? I was in my 40s at this time, okay? And I thought, I'm going to go back to school. By this time, we had already gotten some schools here in town that were not the traditional 4-year college. Okay, you could go, and it was not like the community college, which I had already experienced, but you could go to school and study a specific discipline and learn that, and then they would help you find a job, and you would have a career as opposed to just a job where you were working for your paycheck only, okay, meeting the bills. And you know what it's like. You work Monday through Friday, you're looking forward to a weekend to get some rest, but it's really working for the money, okay? So I decided I want to go to school. Okay, so I went to one of these colleges. I went in, I remember my experience. I looked at it, was not impressed. It was very stark, very sterile. And I thought, okay, don't judge a book by its cover. That's never good. Okay, so I went in and they had me meeting with the admissions person, and we were in a room, and he was in a folding chair and I was in a folding chair. And he's got his clipboard on his knee and talking to me, and I'm telling him I'm really interested in the medical coding and billing program that you have, and he's trying to sway me into the medical assistant program. And I'm like, no, I really don't want to be a medical assistant. I have no interest in dealing with blood and needles and anything like that. So no, 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 you really need to be an MA. So, you know, very pushy. And then they started bringing out the cost of the program and all of this. And I just felt very uncomfortable. So I left. I went home and I cried because I really, now I wanted to go to school. And I felt like it was too late. Okay, in my 40s, I'm like, man, I left my job. What am I going to do? So then I remember that my cousin had come to a school here that was like a 2-year institution, and I thought, where did he go? So I called him. I said, where did you go and get your degree? He had an associate's, and he was working. And I said, where did you go? And he said, I went to Southwest Career College. I'm like, Southwest Career? He says, yeah. He says, it's here, and he gave me the directions. I'm like, okay. So I got in my car and I drove to Southwest Career College, and I walked in. Immediately the aesthetics were different. You know, I was like, wow, what a warm, embracing environment. But again, I thought, don't judge a book by its cover, because some things can also look great and not be great, right? So they had me sit down and wait until somebody from admissions came and got me. So I'm sitting there, and then this short little blonde woman comes up to me and she says, have you been helped? And I said, well, I'm waiting for an admissions, but nobody has come to help you. No, ma'am, not yet. Let me get somebody for you. I'm like, okay. So she leaves, and then she comes back out and she says, VNA will be with you shortly. Okay, great. Thank you so much. And I thought, wow, what an awesome person. So then VNA comes out and she calls me in. And yes, it's VNA from SU that we all know and love. Okay. So she calls me in and I'm sitting there with her and we're talking and stuff. Very personable, very friendly, not pushy. She's asking me what I want. Okay, what do you want? And I'm telling her I'm interested in this medical coding and billing. Oh, okay, let's see what we can get. And then eventually our conversation turned to that lady who I met when I first got there. And I said, who was that lady? I said, she was so nice. She said, she's the owner of the school. I'm like, the owner of the school? She says, yeah, and she's our president and she's the owner of the school. And I'm like, wow. Okay, so remember, I had all of that customer service experience from when I was a teenager and, that I decided to go to work and all this. So I had all these years of all this experience. So I know customer service really well. And I understand the role of a leader in an organization. So hearing that the president and the owner of the school is standing out there helping, okay, potential students spoke to me. It showed me, excuse the emotion. We lost her a while back, so this is tough to talk about her. But it showed me her humility. It showed me the belief that she has in her organization. So that spoke to me as someone who had been working with customers for so long. And I thought, this is an awesome thing. I'm like, and if she has instilled those values in her organization, this is an awesome organization. So her humility, her integrity, her just how friendly she was, how kind, motivated me to enroll. So I enrolled in SU. So I start the medical coding and billing program, and it's first day, and I'm nervous as anybody would be. And I come in, and you know how you scan the room when you first get to a class, and you have all these kind of looks that kind of like sideways glances like that, and you're like, oh my gosh. So I'm scanning the room, and I see nothing but about 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds. So I'm thinking, man, can I do this? Okay, because I'm a little long in the tooth. Okay, not very long, but somewhat. And I thought, can I compete with all these younger people? So I said, I'm here. I'm going to give it my best shot. Okay, I was always a good student, but not a great student. I never really fully applied myself because I just didn't like school. So I'm here and I'm like, okay, I'm going to give it my best. So my first teacher walks in. Okay. And this speaks to the influence of instructors and how important it is to have good instructors. So she walks in, tall lady, wearing a brown dress, high heels. You could hear the heels clicking down the hallway as she was walking into the classroom. So she gets in there, big smile, hi, and she says, I know what your schedule says. It says Mrs. Olivares, but don't ever call me that. Never call me that, in a very kind of humorous way. Never, never call me that. She says, I'm Miss Vivian. And I thought, okay, but she was very relatable, very personable, interested, engaged, and she was like that throughout the class. Okay, she's an English teacher. So, and I found all my instructors to be the same. Dr. Pratarelli, Mr. Guerra, Dr. Heredia, I had so many great instructors, and I had never experienced that before. People that genuinely care. You can see it, you can feel it. Okay, so I was happy for once. For the first time in my life, I was a happy camper in school. I'm like, I am really enjoying my experience for the first time. So I loved it. And then through, as time went on, Miss Vivian became my mentor. And I guess she saw something in me. To this day, I really don't know exactly what it is because she says it's kind of hard to put into words. But she says, I saw something in you that told me you should be at SU. I've always liked research. I've always liked helping people with, hey, look at this site. Maybe this will help you find the answer that you're needing, or helping people with homework, things like that. So she said, I see you here. I see you here with us. I see you like a teaching or something. And I'm like, I said, I can't teach. I don't have a teaching degree. She says, yeah. And I was like, really? And she says, yes. She says, you need to know your subject matter very well. You need to apply yourself. She says, you need to get that certification for coding. So at the time for the CPC exam, which is a 5 hour and 40-minute exam through AAPC, I believe I was maybe the second person that had attempted that exam for the school. And it's a daunting exam. Okay, so what I've learned about certifications is you really have to throw yourself into them. Okay, anything. for school. You have to do the work, guys. There's no escaping that. Okay, if you're going to do well in school and you want to reap the benefits of the education, you have to put the work in. So I put the work in and I studied, and because Ms. Vivian said you might have an opportunity to become a substitute teacher. Okay, great. It was an opportunity I had not even considered. Okay, so this shows you that simply by coming to school and attempting to get my education, it opened up this whole other door for me, a whole other opportunity. Okay, so I studied hard and I got my certification. I passed the test. I was thrilled. I swear there's still a dent in my ceiling in the living room from where I saw the results when I looked at the website. And I just jumped up so high. I was so happy. So because of that, I was able to come in and start substituting. So I started substituting, and I would prepare my own evaluations for the students. Okay, because teachers get surveys. Electronic surveys, substitutes do not. So I prepared my own, and then I would give them to Dr. Cardenas, who was in charge of the department at the time where I was teaching. And then Mr. Burciaga also, I would, be in contact with him. Look, this is how I'm doing my classes, because I really wanted to get in now as an instructor. That seed had been planted. And then I kind of reflected back to when I was denied that position to train those tellers. And now I'm like, now I have this opportunity to plant those seeds and pass on what I know. Okay, so it kind of was like that came full circle for me. So I started substituting, okay, and I did that. And then one night I received a phone call. Would you be interested in being a full-time instructor? So there's another dent in my ceiling because I'm like, yes, I am very interested in doing that. So I met with Miss Ariola and she said, we can't bring you on as a full instructor completely because you don't have the bachelor's degree. Okay, but I'll be able to work in this capacity. Yes, you'll be kind of like, I guess, an instructor in training, if you want to look at it that way. So I went ahead and I agreed, yes, I want this. Okay, so I started working. I loved it. And to this day, I love my job. And then SU, or Southwest Career College, became Southwest University because we brought in the bachelor's program. So then I went into the bachelor's. Okay, it was tough, guys. It was hard to work and to go to school at the same time. It's difficult. I understand that, but it's doable if you apply yourself. You have to push yourself. And not just to be just doing what little you can just to pass, but to excel. And what's more important is really to gain that knowledge and learn the subject matter, because that's what you're going to need when you go out into the field. You're going to need that knowledge. Okay, if I hadn't learned my subject matter so well, there's no way I could be a teacher. There's no way I could be instructing these courses because I wouldn't have the knowledge necessary. So that's something that, yeah, getting the A is awesome. Okay, and being a 4.0 student is awesome. It's tremendous. And congratulations if you're able to do that. However, it's not enough. You need to know the information. You need to know it. Okay, so A's and learning the information, it's the best combination. That's what's going to help you pass certifications and be able to better your portfolio. So as you move forward, you have advantages that perhaps other people do not, and they set you apart from others. Okay, so I'm teaching and I'm doing all this and I'm getting my bachelor's. I got my bachelor's. Okay, and then after that, I was able to start teaching more classes. Okay, so I started teaching more classes. Then I got to meet Miss Lazarin, and she and I just were talking stuff, and she says, I want you in my department. And I'm like, yeah, but you're teaching bachelor students. And she says, yeah, you would need like a more advanced degree. So I said, I'm going to go for my master's. So I went for my master's. I applied to the University of Texas at Tyler. Okay, I did well at SU. I had a 4.0 in my associates, 4.0 in my bachelor's. So you can see that all of that hard work that I put in, the sleepless nights, the stomach aches, the crying. Okay, I often tell my students that if you're not stressed out to the point where you're crying like at least once a week, you're not doing it right. Okay, it's okay to be stressed out. It's okay to feel like, oh my God, what have I done? But all of that was worth it. Okay, because it enabled me to be admitted to University of Texas at Tyler, and I got in there and taken a master's in business administration with the concentration in healthcare management. So teaching full time again and then working on the master's again was a struggle. It's difficult, but it's doable. Okay. And remember, I was an older person doing this. I got my master's at the age of 52. Okay. Some people would write you off when you're too old or I'm too old. No, you're not. Okay. There's no such thing. As long as you have the desire and you want to learn, you can do it. Always. There's no such thing as can't. Okay. You can. You just have to believe in yourself. So I had that confidence, and it was instilled in me by my instructors, by my mentor, Miss Vivian. So I went ahead, got my master's. And I have a picture of me getting my hooding ceremony at Southwest Cafe, because I went to Miss Arriola when I was graduating, and I said, Miss Arriola, why am I going to go all the way to UT Tyler and stand there with strangers? I said, can I have my hooding ceremony here at the Southwest Cafe? I said, I want to have some food and invite some of my family members, invite some of the instructors who were instrumental in my education that are still here. Would that be okay? And she goes, yes, of course. You know, she was always so positive. Yes, absolutely. Excuse me. So I remember it was, sorry, again, the emotion because we lost her. So I remember it was a Friday and we gathered in the SU Cafe, and I have a picture of Miss Vivian putting, the hood is the colored part that you wear. And there's a colored part here that signifies your degree, and then it goes over the back. So I have a picture of Miss Vivian in front of me putting on the hood. Jeremy Burciaga behind me, who was also instrumental in me being an SU as an instructor, behind me. They're both hooding me. And to my right is Miss Ariola. That was such a special moment because it culminated everything I had done. From this person who was insecure, walking into the doors of Southwest Career College after having been disappointed and having been felt like I was marginalized, like, you know, I wasn't going to be able to do anything, to walking into those doors and finding hope. And being able to make something of myself. But what a gift. What a privilege. What an opportunity. So to be there getting my master's with the very lady who helped me get seen by VNA and who kind of started everything for me was amazing. And it's hard because she's no longer with us. But her vision remains. The reason that she started SU was to give people like me an opportunity so that we can make something of ourselves. So if you're out there and you're wondering, can I? Yes, you can. Ms. Ariola would be the first to tell you, yes, you can. She believed in people. She believed in possibilities. She believed in the potential of a human being that has a desire to learn, to do so, and to make something of themselves. So I sit here very grateful for the opportunity that I was given. I had to do the work, guys. I had to put myself out there. I had to take a chance on myself and believe in myself. I had to work hard. Nothing comes easy that's worth it. So while I still don't believe in the traditional schooling methods, I believe in SU. I am you and you are me. We are the same. The only difference is that I have my education and I have learned all this information and now I can pass it on to you. That's the only difference. But our desires are the same. Our needs are the same. Our dreams are the same. We just want to be better tomorrow than we are today. And I will tell you with all honesty, truthfulness, that SU is responsible for where I am right now. Because I never thought that I would have this opportunity to be able to impart this knowledge to other people. I think back on that teller position, that trainer position that I didn't get. And I go, thank God that I didn't, because if I had gotten that, maybe I would have never left that job and been able to have this awesome opportunity to be sitting in front of you right now, encouraging you to get your education, encouraging you to push yourself and believe in yourself and do everything that you can to make you happen. And I know that there are a lot of schools out there where you can do this, but I can speak to SU because I know what this school does. I know that the instructors care, the directors care, the owners, the presidents, the vice presidents, everyone that is involved in this organization cares, and they want you to further yourself, meet your dreams, and be everything that you can possibly be. But you need to put in the work. Okay, you cannot take a shortcut. It costs you something. You have to sacrifice, but you can do it. I did it. I'm living proof. SU does make you happen, and it sounds so hokey. It sounds like I'm here to give you a commercial. I'm not. I believe it. I live it every day. Now I have a career that I love. I love my job. I love my students. I struggle with my students at times. I push them, I challenge them because I care, because I know what it's like to sit in those chairs and what it takes to do something with your life. So I don't accept excuses because I'm like, you know what? I did it. You can do it. So I encourage you, I encourage you, I encourage you to believe in yourselves, because, that's that little spark that starts the fire within you. So wherever you are in your education, wherever you are in your life, just keep going. Just keep going. You're going to make it, and allow yourself to be open to new opportunities, because you never know. You never know what can open up to you if you take a chance on yourself. So I still love to learn. Okay, I've got my master's. I don't know if I'll be following through for more education, but you can always continue learning. All right, but school can still suck at times. Okay, but learning is always great. But this school does not suck. Okay, these people I believe in, and we believe in you. Every single one of us, we believe in you. So SU makes you happen. There's nothing else I can say. It really does. But again, put in the work. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I have a quote here from the Rolling Stones, okay, since I do love music so much. It says, you can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you'll get what you need. SU gave me what I needed, a new life. So thank you, Ms. Ariola. Thank you, Ms. Vivian. Thank you, Jeremy, Dr. Cardenas, wherever you are, Ms. Lazarin, all my instructors who are now my colleagues. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Dr. Ramos, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I appreciate it. As an honor for me to speak on behalf of Southwest and my student experience and my experience as an instructor. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Romy, for sharing with us. It's very amazing. I remember actually being there in the coffee shop when Ms. Arriola helped hood you, and it was very beautiful to see, somebody come from a student to an instructor, and being that example for the students. And you mentioned the kind of the culture and the support, and that again came from Ms. Arriola, her family, the ownership, and they make sure that trickles down through administration and through the faculty, so that the students feel that engagement, that support, that family atmosphere that we try to create here. And so thank you very much for perpetuating that and taking the time to share your story with us. Just to ask a question,
Sure.
and you probably kind of answered this here and there in your talk, but I did want to ask, so if you now, knowing everything you know, what advice would you have given yourself your first day of class?
Probably to relax, because I was very nervous. I was very uptight. I was very unsure of myself because, again, I scanned that room and I saw these young people, and I was like, oh my goodness, am I going to be able to compete with all these youngsters? And actually, it turned out that pretty soon they were coming to me to ask me, hey, what's the answer to this and what's the answer to that? And so not to sell yourself short, I think I would tell Romy, hey, you're smarter than you think you are. You can do more than you think you can. So just believe in yourself, relax, and just enjoy the ride. Just enjoy the ride.
And then just one more thing, advice you would give to current students who might be in that similar position that you were in, relax, but anything else a little bit more specific in how they should approach their coursework, handle busy life with classroom, any advice for them?
Yes, you will have to, your education is important, because you are important, and you are worthy of investing in. So invest that time that you're going to need to do well in your courses. I know I had to sacrifice a lot of time with family. I didn't go to family events and things like that because I was home studying. So you do have to make these hard choices. Like I said, the investment that you put into it, you're going to reap the rewards after. I think back about how hard I studied for my certifications and just how hard I worked to get through all my classes and do well. Now I'm reaping the rewards. Now I'm relaxed, but I have that experience that I can impart to other students and encourage them to continue doing that. But you are going to have to sacrifice. You are going to have to take the time getting a good education, and more importantly, the learning. It's not about the paper degree that you're going to frame and put on your wall. It's about the knowledge behind the degree. Okay. Anybody can go through school and jump through the necessary hoops. D's get degrees. However, D's do not get you and keep great jobs for you. Okay. What does is the knowledge that you gain. That is your foundation. So always invest in your knowledge. Okay. And for that, it takes time, it takes sacrifice. You have to meet with your instructors. I would recommend tutoring, whatever opportunities your instructors give you for tutoring, take that opportunity. Meet with your instructors. I know SU and most colleges are like this. Instructors will give you the opportunity to meet with them and speak with them. When I was getting my master's, UT Tyler, the instructors would have these sessions, kind of like, Zoom sessions, and you would sit there with your instructor, and this is where you go back and forth and you ask the question. That's another thing. Ask questions. All right. A lot of times I will be in class teaching and I'll ask, do you have any questions? And there is silence in the room. And then you give the test or you give the assignment and you see that there are low grades. And then you follow back with those students and you're like, what happened? And like, well, it's because I didn't really understand this. Why didn't you ask a question? Okay, we seem to have this thing like when we were kids that if you asked a question, they would boo you or whatever. That doesn't happen. Okay, as adults, it's understood that clarification is necessary in college. So ask the questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. It's very important. Follow through. Again, know that it's going to take something from you. It's going to you're going to have to sacrifice. Um, Gosh, I wish it, you don't have to sacrifice time with your children because children are so important. But you have to make a choice. You really do. Should I go out with my friends? Can I ask my mom to babysit the baby for a couple of hours so I can study? Make those kinds of choices. And there are many students that I teach that I'm amazed by them. I'm so impressed by them because they're working full time and they have children and they have, responsibilities that like to clean the house and do the laundry and all of that. And yet they're still in school full time and they're giving it their all. So it is possible. You just have to have um, what they said in that movie, Stand and Deliver, ganas. Okay, it does take ganas, that desire, that push, that follow through. You have to have that. So it is going to take a lot from you as a student, but I encourage you. It is absolutely possible.
And then I just have one more question. So I don't know if any of the participants that joined us today had any questions. Feel free to kind of click to raise your hand and I can unmute you. Or if you want to just enter it into the chat, we can ask the question that way. But just one last question, Ms. Romy. Summarize your whole experience in one word or one sentence from being a student, advancing to becoming an instructor, getting your master's degree, and having this great experience at SU. How would you summarize it? A word or a sentence?
Wow. Wow would be good. Okay, wow is a good word because it signifies like shock and also like, wow, you did it. Wow, it's hard. Wow, I can't believe it. I think wow would be wow. Yeah. That's the first word that came out of my mouth. Wow is a good word, because you're going to be impressed by certain things that you're going to go, wow. And then maybe daunted by other things and go, wow, I had no idea this class was going to be so difficult. But can you still do it? Yeah. So wow is a good word.
That's awesome. That's a great way to summarize it.
Thanks.
But thank you so much, Ms. Romy, for taking the time and sharing your story. It's great to see how much SU has helped you become the person that you are, and it's very encouraging and inspiring for us to continue that with future students and to have people like you teaching the classes, helping them become the best people that they can. So thank you, not just for this talk, but for everything.
Thank you. Thank you. Again, it's my honor to be here, and I'm humbled and that I was asked to present, and it was nerve-wracking. Again, I apologize for the emotion, but Miss Ariola meant a lot. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. And thank you, everybody who joined us today. That's the end for the presentation today. We're going to have another one next week where Ms. Flores is going to give us some information on how to write papers in APA style. And we'll have more presentations, throughout the year. So thank you again, everybody, for joining. Thank you, Ms. Romy, for sharing your story.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a good day, everyone. God bless.
Bye-bye, everybody.